I'd like to acknowledge that we are gathered on the territory of the Lekwungen-speaking peoples and the Songhees and Esquimalt First Nations. Today I will talk about the next steps forward on the Surrey policing transition. This is one of the most difficult decisions that I've had to make as Solicitor General. It's also one of the most important because the impacts on people's safety are undeniable. The consequences won't be felt just in the city of Surrey or in the Lower Mainland, but indeed across the province. I want to take a moment to thank Mayor Locke and all of Surrey Council for their commitment and dedication on this issue, and for their patience and cooperation as we have gone through this process. The Surrey policing transition is complex and unparalleled in the history of this province. The Director of Police Services has taken the time to conduct an unbiased, thorough, evidence-based review and produced a report spanning more than 500 pages. Analyzing information submitted by the City of Surrey, the RCMP, and the Surrey Police Service, it outlines the implications for reversing the transition, as well as its impacts on First Nations, police modernization, and confidence in public safety. This report from the Director of Police Services details a way forward that ensures a safe level of policing for all communities in British Columbia, with the recommendation that the City of Surrey continue its transition to the Surrey Police Service. In addition, an independent analysis of the financials of the submissions by Deloitte has provided clarity on transition costs and operational costs for both services. Everyone needs to be safe in their community, regardless of where they live in BC. As Solicitor General, it's my duty to make sure that the decision on the transition ensures public safety, not just for the people of Surrey, but for everyone in British Columbia. The path forward provides secure policing that people can count on now and for the long term. The best way to ensure public safety and to put this difficult time behind us is with a municipal police force in Surrey. I am recommending that the City of Surrey continue with the transition to the Surrey Police Service. The province is ready to sit down with the City of Surrey to provide financial support so we can finally close this chapter of confusion and uncertainty. The RCMP have significant recruiting challenges right now, and with 1,500 vacancies across British Columbia, we cannot afford to make it worse. The Director of Police Services report makes it clear that backtracking to the RCMP risks reducing police presence in other regions. Moving backwards to the RCMP in Surrey could come at the cost of staffing positions elsewhere in the province. Mayors and Indigenous leaders of RCMP police communities have expressed concerns about RCMP resourcing, and they have said they cannot afford to lose any of their officers to Surrey. If communities such as Richmond, North Vancouver, and Chilliwack have reduced police presence, that risks impacting public safety in the entire region, including in Surrey. But also, let me be clear, my support for the RCMP in this province is unwavering. RCMP officers on the ground across British Columbia protect our communities each and every day, a sentiment I know I share with Mayor Locke. It was my privilege to attend the police honours last week, where the province celebrated the dedication and bravery of RCMP officers. Every day we witness their commitment and professionalism. And last November we made an historic $230 million in investment in base RCMP funding that will help hire 277 additional officers for specialized units and rural police forces. This investment will help our dedicated RCMP officers keep our communities safe across our province. We commissioned an independent analysis by Deloitte to verify the concerns from the City of Surrey that the plan to staff 734 Surrey Police Service officers will cost approximately $30 million more per year than the RCMP's plan. This confirms the cost differential that the Mayor of Surrey has repeatedly expressed concerns about. That is why we are committed to working with the City of Surrey on financial support from the province to ensure that there are not additional costs to Surrey residents and businesses. Additionally, The independent financial analysis also verified that moving towards the municipal police force will save the City of Surrey over $72 million in severance costs. The people of Surrey are frustrated by years of back and forth, and they should not have to pay the price for this confusion. Every day I hear from people about public safety in their communities. And since the peak of the pandemic, we have seen communities across the country express concerns about safety and crime. When someone calls 911, they need to know that a police officer will be there to help. Now is not the time to put policing levels at risk in any community, in Surrey or anywhere else in BC. The people of Surrey have been through enough. The path we are recommending is safer for all regions of the province, safer for the people of Surrey, and with provincial financial support, will help prevent them from paying more. Together, we will ensure public safety for the people across the province and for the people of Surrey. Thank you.
Our decision is exactly what it was in December, that we will keep the RCMP as the police of jurisdiction. I have since spoken with the Deputy Commissioner and asked him if he could fulfill. As you know, there are requirements to keep the RCMP. There are requirements to go with the SPS. And I have spoken with the Deputy Commissioner. He was very, very clear that he can reach all those issues that were raised for him, so we are confident moving forward. We have only a redacted report, as you saw, and we will be giving that to our staff to review, but I have only gotten that within the last very short time, like literally 20 minutes ago. So I think it is incredibly disrespectful of the Solicitor General to ask us to have a reconsideration when we have been at this for 4 years and 6 months, and our council has been there for 6 months. Again, we don't know what that money is. It was never raised before, and in fact, right at the beginning of the election time, if you recall, the minister said very clearly there would be no money. So that demonstrates to me this is not about public safety. This is about a political decision that he chooses to make. It was never only about the money. This is about public safety to us, and we know that in Surrey, our crime severity index has been declining for a decade. It has been going down regularly, and we just had the last quarter that was very clear. Once again, Surrey's doing very well. We're open to sitting at a table if there is anything on the table, but I am not going to be handed a redacted report given to me 20 minutes ago and asked to make a decision. It's highly disrespectful, and I am actually quite disappointed and shocked that the minister would do that. No, I wouldn't say it's a gimmick by the NDP, but I would say that we know that the RCMP have been providing safe and effective policing in the City of Surrey for 72 years. I don't know why he's doing that. He believes, and he is responsible for, the entire province. I am not. I am only concerned with policing in the City of Surrey. And so for us, and what our voter has said, they want to keep the RCMP as the police of jurisdiction in this city, and we will do that. Well, first of all, this is, again, never just been about the cost, but the cost is extraordinarily more than $8 million. And if you look at the corporate report that we had in December, it was $235 million. That did not include, though, the money that we get back from the RCMP, the percentage we get back from the RCMP. It also did not include all of the money that is required for capital costs. That was primarily on the operational side. I want to tell you too, though, I do want to comment on this. If the provincial government was serious about this from the get-go, they would have increased dramatically the funding to the Justice Institute, dramatically. We last year were allowed 23 new officers to go through the JI. It just will never get, they will never get to to the numbers they need. So it's interesting, they're concerned about recruitment for the RCMP, but the reality is the real challenge is going to be for the SPS to man up. And we also know that the SPS have missed all their benchmarks. They've missed all the way through. They were supposed to be the POJ April 1st, 2020. They failed. They were then supposed to be April 1st, 2021. They failed. They can't do it. Police right across this country are really hard to find, to be frank, and I think everybody knows that. Everybody in policing knows hiring is a challenge, and so this is just another challenge. This was the minister kicking the ball down the road, and I think at the expense of Surrey. I think that the report was written by people in Victoria that don't understand the lay of the land in Surrey, absolutely. I think that we know that we are fully functional and fully enforced in Surrey. We have a full force here. I have talked even to the Director of Police Services about that. He has confirmed that we are. So I hope that answers your question, but we know that the RCMP have delivered for Surrey. I understand that the Solicitor General may have concerns externally. He may have concerns with other areas of the province. That's not my problem, to be frank. I am here to make sure that public safety is the best we can have in Surrey, and I believe we're there, and we know that the crime stats, the indicators are showing a downward trend for Surrey, which I think we should all be very, very proud of.
I just want to say, what a great decision. I feel like doing some dancing up here, you know. And it's a great decision for the people of Surrey, for the people that are out there in our great city, for the people that have lived here for many, many years, for those that have just arrived, and for those that will be coming in the future. They want to be in a city that feels safe. They want to be in a city that has a really strong and active and proactive police service, like the Surrey Police Service. You know, in the last 3 months that I've been out in the public, every day I go walking every morning. I meet a lot of people in our community. I was at a Vizaki parade for 5 hours the other day. 700,000 residents there. That's more than the population of our city. And everywhere I went, people were looking forward to our new Surrey Police Service. They were there. They were in the crowd. They were walking with me sometimes. They were walking and talking to people in the crowd. They were laughing with kids. They were handing out goodies to the kids. This is the type of community we want to see in our great city. And that's what the Surrey Police Service is bringing, a community policing service, one that's out in our community that is proactive. They go around to the schools. My grandkids at different soccer games that I've now had a chance to go to, they're out there at all the soccer games, handing the kids goodies, encouraging, talking to the residents. The other day I was going into a grocery store, and I was in line, and this guy taps me behind me on my shoulder and says, you know, it's great to see you. I'm just a new member of the Surrey Police Service. And he said, I moved my whole family here to Surrey. I love it, he said. It's the best decision our family ever made. I get that every day, people tapping me on the, I just joined the Surrey Police Service. They're community-based, they're in the community, they're living in the community. And that's what's bringing the safety part to our city. And I just want to congratulate and thank from the bottom of my heart the province and Minister Farnworth for the decision or recommendation, as he calls it, today to stay and to carry on with their Surrey Police Service. They reviewed the reports. I can tell you, over the last 5 years, there's been a huge number of reports, an encyclopedia full of reports. And I've read them all. Council at that time has read them all. This time, there still is a huge amount of reports done. This is the third time that reports have been done on it. And it's the third time they all recommend to go to our Surrey Police. And one of the critical components of our Surrey Police Service and the ability for them is to recruit people. They have had no problem recruiting people to the new service. And when you look at the makeup of Surrey, and then just look at the makeup of the Surrey Police Service, how they reflect all the different cultures in the world that have come in. That's what Surrey's about. It's one of the fastest, if not fastest, growing city. It has a lot of immigrants from all over the world coming in. It's exciting. We need to welcome them with our open arms. But we also need to build the infrastructure. And the very first thing they need to do is build a strong Surrey Police Service for those people so that they feel safe in our community. Often they're running from unsafe communities around the world or in wars around the world. And they are so thankful when they meet the Surrey Police Service. They're so in the community. They're on social media. They're everywhere talking to people, proactive. And they're now going into the schools and talking to the kids to try to convince them to stay out of gangs and so forth. That's the way we solve the gang thing, is being community-oriented, proactive, get in front of the problem and solve it. And so I just want to really congratulate again the province and Minister Farnworth, his whole staff, who I happen to know because I worked with them for 4 years. They're a great staff over there. I also worked with them when the Surrey Police Board was formed. They do a tremendous job over there. They're hardworking. They do the research. They understand policing in all of the province. And I want to thank them for all the work that they have done. I also want to thank the Safe Surrey Coalition members here today for their support over a very tough time over the last 5 years. We were out in the public, and as anything that is new, you know, you're going to have people in opposition. And you know, I welcome opposition. When I was in high school, I was a great debater. I won all sorts of awards in debating because that's what makes a community, different feelings. But we need to work together also when decisions are made. And we need to move forward because we are such a great city. The RCMP over the years has not moved forward. As a number of reports that have come out recently, their type of policing, their model of policing is broken and it needs to be fixed. And that comes from the Nova Scotia Commission that just recently introduced a big report. The other big thing is they can't recruit officers. Across Canada, there are 1,500 officers short right now, and they can't recruit them. And so they need to start right at the bottom and work and change their programs and so forth. They are a good police force internationally, nationally, dealing with national issues and so forth. But they really do need to look at a change in their model. And, you know, I am so proud of the people of Surrey because they're out there, they've come to our great city, and they have enjoyed when they're out in the community. And I don't think there is any better example than the Versaki Parade, 700,000 people out there, all enjoying it. Yes, there's people that have different opinions in that parade, but that's fine. That's what a free democratic country or city is all about, differences of opinion. But when we make a decision and the majority of people, the vast majority of people elect people on the decision, then we need to get on with it. And now's the time when the decision basically has been made. Yes, it's a recommendation back, but it's a strong recommendation that we need to carry on. We now need to carry on and complete this transition for the people of Surrey. So again, I want to thank all the press, especially for coming out. I'd be happy at any time to talk to you. I know I've been quiet since the election, but I'm not going to stay quiet any longer because I think it's really important for our people right now that they need some strong leadership. And if I can help in any way, and certainly in my opinion, or even in the Safe Surrey Coalition, then we want to be able to help the people of Surrey. There's a lot of issues coming down, and I just want to mention, you know, 4 years ago when we campaigned on changing the police force. It was a huge thing, but we also campaigned on changing the light rail to SkyTrain. That's done. Also, it's in construction right now. The posts are going up early next year. And we also campaigned on 25 other projects, and all of them are in different stages of moving ahead. And we need that from the current council as we look forward with all the people that are coming into our city. We need the infrastructure for those people. And so it's very, very important. Number one infrastructure is the Safe Surrey Police, the Safe Surrey. The Surrey Police Service is the number one infrastructure in all growing communities that is needed. They provide that. They're just about, they have about 400 officers right now operating out on our streets. And so we need to carry on with that and complete the transition as quick as possible. So thank you very, very much, and I'll open it up to any questions anybody has. Well, just a sec, at least you have somebody to answer. If you go first, Janet, you'll go first. I haven't made any decisions, Janet. I'm enjoying family life right now.
I do want to ask you, you talked about the SPS being in schools and being diverse, etc. And I know what the RCMP is saying, that comment, the RCMP are in the schools talking about gangs. The SPS be different. I know that's them, but they're not having a news conference today. So I'm going to ask you, how really are they different from having the RCMP?
First of all, I think they are having a news conference. Oh, they cancel it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. They're a lot more in the community. You know, they're out at all our churches and temples. They're in our schools. They are out, as I mentioned, to soccer games. I can honestly tell you, in all my life, and I live most of my life in Surrey, I've gone to a lot of rugby and soccer games. I've never seen a police officer at any of those games. And I've seen them all the time at those rugby and soccer. I sat down at a big rugby tournament the other day in the new clubhouse in South Surrey, actually. And I watched the rugby game. The guy sitting right beside me says, again, he says, "Hi, Doug." He said, I've been with the Surrey Police Service for 2 years. He said, "I love it." He said, he's there in a rugby game talking to all the kids. That's the type of community spirit. I think as far as the schools are concerned, I think as they get more officers, we need to continually put more Surrey police officers into the schools. The RCMP, as I mentioned to you, can't recruit. They're having a heck of a time recruit, as I said, with the shortage they have. The Surrey Police Service over the last couple of years haven't had any problem recruiting officers. So they'll be able to get a lot more officers out there in the community than the RCMP.
But there's only so many seats at the Justice Institute. So even if people want to work at the SPS, there's only so much they can ramp up by every year or every graduating class. And the SPS, I was told yesterday, has 338 boots on the ground officers. How are they going to ramp up by roughly 500 officers?
Well, because they have recruiting all over the world. You'd be surprised if they could give you a list of where some of their new officers are coming, like from Europe, from Toronto, all over the world. And so as far as new recruits and training, we have slots that I think the Surrey Police Service will tell you. I'm not sure the exact figure, but 35 every 3 months or something like that. Slots. That's their slots, and there's other slots for other police departments. But the vast majority of new officers that come in is from other police areas, not so much even in BC, but in Canada, in Europe, they've had officers come. From Asia, they've had officers come, literally from all over. And if anybody was to want to attend when they get sworn in as officers, that's an open thing. And at that thing, they say where they're from and the cultures. You'd be shocked at where they come from all over the world. So that's where they're getting their new officers.
Mr. McConnell,
yeah.
Brenna Lott, the current mayor, outright rejected the report. And she said it's just a recommendation. She finds it to be disrespectful and disgraceful. Now this infighting between politically, provincial government approved it. Now she's fighting that, how it affects the safety of Surrey and the communities.
Well, I think, as I've said to you, a decision, council has the options of what the minister said to them is to talk about. And I think that council needs to now sit down and do it in the next week or so. And then they make the decision, not the mayor only. Like, I never made any decisions my life individually. It's always a council decision. And council needs to sit down literally in the next week so that we get this public safety correct out there in the public and get on top of it. They need to make a decision in the next couple of weeks whether they're going to accept the offer or not.
Well, they respect that, but considering they have a majority on the council, and most likely they will reject it, the fear for the community with the increase of 12.5% taxes already that approved. On top of that, this infighting, politically or otherwise, isn't it affecting and giving a black eye to City of Surrey?
Well, I think it has, but right now we got a great offer on the table, super offer to correct that public safety. We need to move on it, and council needs to move on it. And talking about taxes, they should reduce the taxes now, because the government's going to pay for the changeover. That's another thing that was in there. They're going to pay, what was it, 50? 30 million a year. They had an auditor say that that's the figure it costs new for a Surrey Police Service, $30 million a year. By the way, that's the figure I've been saying from 4 years ago. If you go back on any tapes, I said the changeover will be a roughly $25, $30 million. Now that's been verified. But the government's given a huge opportunity for this council. They said, we'll pay the $30 million for the next 5 years, $150 million. And therefore, it's not costing any more money for our new Surrey Police Service. Therefore, because council's been using that as an excuse to raise taxes, the taxes need to now be cut back.
My last question, Mr. McCallum, I was about to say mayor, but you said...
Well, say it. The public says it all the time when I meet them. So.
It's under law enough, so you can have that title. But anyways, having said that, let's see in a council meeting, most likely it will be rejected because they have a majority. What is next?
Well, I don't ever preclude a council meeting. I've learned you never do that. So let's wait and see what they have to say.
So no comment about if it goes sideways, what kind of mess it creates. There is no comment about that.
Well, I made a comment. I don't try to prejudge any council in their discussions and so forth. They have the facts. They have all the information. Now it's time for them to make a decision.
Thank you.
Okay, any others? No? No? Okay, well, thank you very, very much for coming out today. I really, really appreciate you. I know where you've been all over the place today, and there's other things happening, and I just from the bottom of my heart. And I just want to end by really thanking my colleagues at the Safe Surrey Coalition. They've gone through a lot in the last 5 years on this thing. You have no idea what it's cost them and their families and everything. They've gone through a lot, and you know what? We all stuck together. We're still standing up here, and you know, it's just thank you from the bottom of my heart for the support that you have given. And you know, the people of Surrey should really appreciate them too, because we stuck together. We talked to the community. We got involved in the community. We went out. There were a lot of meetings in the community. And we just want to really, really thank them for their contribution to our making our city safe. So thank you.
Alfred, what do you, first of all, your comment on today's decision?
Well, this is something that is, I want to thank Mr. Farnworth for doing the due diligence. I know it took a long time for him to come to this decision, his team. This has been expressed, was extensively researched by teams and teams of people, and his decision was based on their findings. So today, it is a good news story for the city of Surrey. We need to be moving forward. This is something that we've known all along. We need the SPS, and this has just confirmed it. So we need, again, we need to start moving forward and building our city, getting beyond this and dealing with many, many other issues that we have in Surrey. This has taken up a lot of our time.
So, by Mayor Brenda Locke, as her press conference this morning, 11 o'clock, she outright rejected that report. Isn't that creating a more confusion and maybe conflict?
Well, she has created quite a bit of confusion lately with some of her statements. And one thing that, as a mayor, you only have one vote. So this whole report will come back to us through staff with all the facts, and then the city council has to have a look at this and determine whether or not the right decision is there. Now, I've always been an advocate for a safe, livable community, and I think all councillors will support that. And from what we're hearing from Minister Farnworth, it's safer to go with the SPS. And because of the financial implications that are out there, they have the province has addressed that, and that argument now has gone away. So now, again, we need to be moving forward with the SPS.
So, Douglas, with all the infighting, you know, like you sit on the council table and, you know, about taxes, you guys voted against it. Now it's this report, how they can effectively run the city hall.
Well, we're going to have to get together as a group and start to collaborate and work forward and agree on things. We agree on many, many things. But there is some very huge issues that we don't agree on. I voted against the tax increase because I anticipated this decision would be coming and that we would not have to come up with payments for the SPS. And I thought it was too early. And as a result, you can see in retrospect that we're probably overtaxed this year as a result.
And considering the Farnworth put a lot of money on the table to mitigate that and rejecting that, how you feel about that?
Well, that is, I mean, that's a carrot that he dangled in front of us, and it's something that I think we should be taking advantage of. Anytime you have this offer of finances for anything, to support anything, it should be accepted, because this will affect money that we can spend on other things, potholes, roads, community centers. That's a lot of money that we can invest back into Surrey. So not only are we getting better safety, which we've always advocated for, but we're getting more resources to put back into the city for everybody, for all the people, and that's the benefit for everybody.
Thank you very much, Doug.
Thank you.
Always pleasure.
Thank you.
So with this press conference and everything, other somebody asked the question already. Are you planning jumping back into politics again?
I'm enjoying family life. I really am. I'm out. I've got 6 grandkids. They all, and they're playing soccer, and some of them are getting older. They're on national teams, and I just enjoy watching them right now. I also really enjoy what I've really done in the 6 months that from the election is got out and tried to meet as many people in the public as I can. And I go, when I drive sometimes in the day, I'll stop at a construction site and just go say hi to the workers, for example. I was in Visaki for 5 hours talking. I lost my voice pretty well in it, and I went talking to everybody there. I just love people, so I'm just talking to all the people and seeing what their concerns are. But more than anything, I've seen huge new cultures come in that have moving into Surrey. And, you can learn from them. If people will only listen to what they have to say, they can teach us a lot about life, and that's what I've been trying to do.
But all this drama happening, unfortunately, will be not very helpful.
Well, I think this goes to the point that, yes, it'll come to a conclusion very soon, and we'll get on and get our Surrey Police Service going, and then that will provide a better safety. And they'll be able to put a lot more officers on the street. They will make our streets safer. They're a proactive type of policing, so they'll get in front of the problem instead of after the problem. They're already doing that by meeting, out at soccer games, talking to parents, talking to kids, and they go to the homeless shelters, and they're already doing a lot of that to try to solve the problem. So, so I kind of look forward to it. I think Surrey's in very good hands with them, and I think it's really, really exciting times moving forward.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm Alison Patton, former city councillor, and I'm really thrilled about today's decision. I think it was the right decision. I think it was the only decision, and I'm very pleased that it happened for the city of Surrey, for our residents. That's what I'm most happy about.
What do you think?
Hi, I'm Lori Guerra, and I too am a former city councillor. I was with the Safe Surrey Coalition, and I'm really pleased and excited about the decision today. It doesn't come frivolously. I think it was very methodical and well laid out, and from what I heard the Minister, the Solicitor General say, I agree with what he was saying, but I've been a supporter of the Surrey Police from the get-go, because I was one of the members on council along with Councillor Patton or Alison, and Doug McCallum in the Safe Surrey Coalition, where we unanimously voted in favor of going to a municipal police with Councillor Annis, who is still a councillor. She was with a different political party. She too voted in favor of that transition. And the now Mayor, Brenda Locke, who was a member of the Safe Surrey Coalition, campaigned in 2018 on the transition and then voted in favor of the transition on day one of the inaugural meeting. So, what has happened since then, the complaints about it have been it's too expensive and it's not transparent and those types of things. I was involved at the time, and never would that have been my call on it. It was very open. It was very, for the reports that could be done were done. And we're seeing those reports coming out again today for the third time, the third commission's reports, and they've been the same. I think when somebody just doesn't want to recognize the validity of the report, they're going to do whatever they can to badmouth it or make things then go personal. And that's when I think I have a tough time with that. I don't think it should be. I think it should be in the best interests of our residents.
Yeah, and both of you were councillors in the last term. Mm-hmm. And as Brenda Locke came out, rejected that and called it a very disrespectful. Isn't it create a massive confusion, not only at the council tables, but for the citizens of Surrey?
Well, I think it goes back to what former Mayor Doug McCallum was saying about leadership. We are looking to our mayor for leadership, but it appears we're not getting it. And the thing is, Mike Smythe was saying on his show earlier about, is this decision, as former Councillor Laurie was saying, methodical and reasonable, or is the feeling emotional. And in this case, if Mayor Locke is not able to move forward with Surrey Police, then I would conclude it's emotional. And so we need to help her manage her emotions then, so that the people of Surrey can move forward as a team, as a group, and put this behind us.
You know, once you run, you are a politician, right? And always the question comes to your mind. When they selected Mr. McCallum, they give them a mandate to bring a Surrey Police and a SkyTrain and all those kind of things. And you guys made those decisions. Now they elected Brenda Locke. The public elected them. They gave her a mandate to have a RCMP. What do you will say about that?
I will say that I find it a bit disingenuous in that she was part of our mandate in 2018, and like I say, even the one councillor that was elected that was from Surrey First, she too voted to support this new Surrey Police Service. So what has happened since then, I don't see that it's been big enough to have this whole flow going. I think there's other things in play here, and I think that that's going to have to be a question. I believe I even spoke on your show with Councillor Elford that way back in the very beginning, we saw signs of Councillor Locke at the time wanting to separate from the Safe Surrey Coalition. Right from the beginning, actually, once she was elected, she wanted to separate. So I think we could look at this as being a little bit more political than I'd like to think it is. But I think, you know, if it looks like it, acts like it, and smells like it, it usually is.
So you both ladies will be jumping again in the politics, I guess?
One can never tell. One can never tell the future, but you know, we live for today and we enjoy today. So.
How about you?
Well, I would never say never, but I loved the job. I thought I had a great time doing it. It was very busy and very fulfilling work, so I loved it. So
Thank you.
I would not say I would not run again.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
ਸੋ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਨਾਗਰਾ, ਅੱਜ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੋਲਿਸਿਟਰ ਜਨਰਲ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਮਾਈਕ ਫਾਰਨਵਰਥ ਨੇ ਡਿਸੀਜਨ ਬਣਾਇਆ, ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੀ ਖਿਆਲ ਹੈ?
ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਸੋਚ ਕੇ ਰਿਸਰਚ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਡਿਸੀਜਨ ਬਣਾਇਆ, ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਚੰਗਾ ਡਿਸੀਜਨ ਹੈਗਾ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਸੇਫਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਸਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਲੀਅਰਲੀ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਰეკਮੈਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈਗੀ ਸਰੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਕੰਪਲੀਟ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ, ਇਹ ਹੀ ਬੈਸਟ ਰეკਮੈਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈਗੀ, ਬੈਸਟ ਆਪਸ਼ਨ ਹੈਗੀ ਸਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਤੇ ਸਟਰੋਂਗਲੀ ਰეკਮੈਂਡ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਿ ਮੇਅਰ ਐਂਡ ਕਾਉਂਸਲ ਇਸ ਰეკਮੈਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੰਟੀਨਿਊ ਕਰਨ ਤੇ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੰਪਲੀਟ ਕਰਨ। ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇੱਕ ਆਰਗੂਮੈਂਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਮੇਅਰ ਲੌਕ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਟੀਮ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਚੰਗਾ ਆਪਸ਼ਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ, ਇਹਦੇ 'ਤੇ ਟੈਕਸ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਬਰਡਨ ਪੈ ਜਾਏਗਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਰੈਜ਼ੀਡੈਂਟਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਬਿਜ਼ਨੈਸਿਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਲੀਅਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਾਸਟ ਹੈਗੀ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਕਵਰ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ, ਉਹ ਕਾਸਟ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ ਕਵਰ ਕਰਨ ਨੂੰ ਤਿਆਰ ਆ। ਸੋ
30 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ a year for 5 years।
ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਪਲੱਸ ਦੇਖੋ 30 ਪਲੱਸ ਉਹ 150 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ SPS ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਉਹ ਮਿਲਣਗੇ, ਪਲੱਸ ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ $72 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਸੈਵਰੈਂਸ ਪੇ ਆ, ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ RCMP ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਅਸੀਂ 150 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅੱਜ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ ਟੇਬਲ 'ਤੇ ਰੱਖ ਰਹੀ ਆ, ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਡਿਕਲਾਈਨ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ, ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ 72 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਸੈਵਰੈਂਸ ਪੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆ, ਸੋ ਕਲੋਜ਼ ਟੂ 230 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸਾਈਡ 'ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਿੱਕ ਆਊਟ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਡੋਰ 'ਚੋਂ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਪੈਸੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ। 230 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਇਜ਼ ਅ ਲੋਟ ਆਫ ਮਨੀ। ਸੋ ਮੇਅਰ ਜੇ ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਕਹਿਣ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ RCMP ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਜਾਣਾ ਵਿਦਆਊਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਪੜੀ ਹੋਈ ਆ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਮੇਅਰ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ ਕਾਨਫਰੰਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਵੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ 20 ਮਿੰਟ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਮਿਲੀ ਆ, ਉਹ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਇਟਸ ਡਿਸਰਿਸਪੈਕਟਫੁਲ। ਐਟ ਦ ਸੇਮ ਟਾਈਮ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਫਿਰ ਉਹ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਾਊਂਸਲ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ ਰਿਲੀਜ਼ ਸੀ, ਉਹ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਸੀ, ਪਰਸੋਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਸੀ, ਜੇ ਟਾਈਮ ਦੀ ਇੰਨੀ ਸ਼ੋਰਟੇਜ ਸੀ। ਦੂਸਰਾ ਉਹ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ RCMP ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਜਾਣਾ। ਦੇਖੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ 20 ਮਿੰਟ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਮਿਲੀ ਆ, 500 ਪੇਜ ਦੀ ਉਹ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਆ, ਉਹ ਵਿਦਆਊਟ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਵੀ ਪੇਜ ਪੜ੍ਹਿਆ, ਵਿਦਆਊਟ ਕੋਈ ਡਿਸਕਸ਼ਨ ਕੀਤਿਆਂ ਕਾਊਂਸਲ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਉਹ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਟਿਲ RCMP ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਜਾਵਾਂਗੇ। ਦੇਖੋ ਇਹ ਇੱਕ ਪੋਲੀਟੀਕਲੀ ਮੋਟੀਵੇਟਡ ਇੱਕ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਟੇਟਮੈਂਟ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਆ, ਪਰ ਜੇ ਇਹ ਥੋਟਫੁਲ ਸਟੇਟਮੈਂਟ ਗਈ, ਇਹ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ।
ਸੋ ਮਨਦੀਪ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਸੈਕੰਡ ਟਾਈਮ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਕਾਫੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਵੀ ਸਿਟੀ ਹਾਲ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਰਨ ਹੁੰਦਾ। ਸੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ
ਹੁਣ ਰਿਜੈਕਟ ਕਰਤਾ ਆਊਟਰਾਈਟ। ਸ਼ੀ ਇਜ਼ ਅ ਮੇਅਰ, ਦੇ ਹੈਵ ਅ ਮੈਜੋਰਟੀ ਐਂਡ ਮੋਸਟ ਲਾਈਕਲੀਹੁੱਡ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜੇ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਰਿਜੈਕਟ ਕਰਤੀ ਫਿਰ ਉਹੀ ਡਰਾਮਾ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ।
ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਖੋ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਾਉਂਸਲ ਰਨ ਕਰਦੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਮੈਜੋਰਿਟੀ 'ਤੇ ਰਨ ਕਰਦੀ ਆ। ਸੋ ਕਾਉਂਸਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੁਣ ਨਵੇਂ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰ ਵੀ ਇਲੈਕਟ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ, ਮੇਅਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਇਲੈਕਟ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ, ਮੇਅਰ ਦੇ ਆਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ, ਸਾਰੀ ਫਸਟ 'ਤੇ ਵੀ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਡਿਸਕਸ਼ਨਸ ਉਹ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਕਰਨਗੇ। ਉਹ ਜਸਟ ਇੱਕ ਡਿਸੀਜਨ ਜੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਕੋਸਟ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ, ਚਾਹੇ ਹੋਰ ਸੇਫਟੀ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਆਫ ਵਿਊ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਰੀਵਿਜ਼ਿਟ ਕਰਨਗੇ। ਉਹ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਸੋਚਣਗੇ ਕਿ ਐਕਚੁਅਲੀ ਬੈਟਰ ਹੈ ਕੀ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ ਦੀ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ, ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਰਿਸਰਚ, ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਐਕਸਪਰਟ ਓਪੀਨੀਅਨਸ, ਨਾਟ BC ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ, ਪੂਰੀ ਕੰਟਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਐਕਸਪਰਟਸ ਨੇ ਹੈਗੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਓਪੀਨੀਅਨਸ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਹ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਤਿਆਰ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ ਆ। ਸੋ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਨੂੰ ਪੜ੍ਹਨਗੇ, ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਡਿਸਕਸ਼ਨਸ ਕਰਨਗੇ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਟੀਮ ਦੇ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰਸ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ, ਸਾਡੇ ਸੇਫ ਸਰੀ ਦੇ ਮੈਂ ਤੇ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰ ਡਗ ਐਲਫਰਡ ਆ, ਉਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਡਿਸਕਸ਼ਨਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਡਿਸੀਜਨ ਆ ਉਹ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਜਾਊਗਾ। ਸੋ ਮੇਅਰ ਲੌਕ ਦਾ ਵਿਦਆਊਟ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਕੁਛ ਵੀ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਪੜ੍ਹਿਆ ਕਹਿ ਦੇਣਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਠੀਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ। ਪਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਆਸ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਦੇ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਚੰਗੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਡੀਪਲੀ, ਇਹਨੂੰ ਥੋਰੋਲੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਨਗੇ, ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰਨਗੇ, ਸੋਚਣਗੇ, ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਆਪਣਾ ਡਿਸੀਜਨ ਬਣਾਉਣਗੇ।
ਸੋ ਮਨਦੀਪ, ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹ ਨਵੀਂ ਕੌਂਸਲ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਮੇਅਰ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਉਦੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਉਮੀਦ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਚਲੋ ਸਮੂਥਲੀ ਸਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਕੰਮ ਹੋਣਗੇ। ਪਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਆ ਸਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੰਮ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਟੈਕਸ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਵਧਾਤਾ 12.5%, ਸੜਕਾਂ ਟੁੱਟੀਆਂ ਪਈਆਂ, ਪੋਟ ਹੋਲਸ ਆਈ ਨੈਵਰ ਸੀਨ, ਇਟਸ ਲਾਈਕ ਅ ਥਰਡ ਵਰਲਡ ਕੰਟਰੀ। ਸੋ ਮਤਲਬ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਟੇਬਲ 'ਤੇ ਬਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਕੰਮ ਤਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਹੋ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹੇ।
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ, ਦੇਖੋ ਇਹ ਇੱਕ ਸੈਡ ਪਾਰਟ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿਰਫ ਤੇ ਸਿਰਫ ਇੱਕੋ ਹੀ ਚੀਜ਼ 'ਤੇ ਸਟਕ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ RCMP ਨੂੰ ਰੱਖਣਾ। ਈਵਨ ਦੋ ਸਾਰੀ ਪੂਰੀ ਆਪਣੀ BC ਦੀ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੀ ਆ, ਆਪਣੇ ਪੂਰੇ ਕੰਟਰੀ ਦੇ ਐਕਸਪਰਟਸ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੁਲਿਸਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈਗੇ ਕਿ SPS ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੀ ਬੈਸਟ ਸੋਲਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ, ਬੈਸਟ ਆਪਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ ਸਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ। ਪਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ 'ਤੇ ਸਟਕ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਰਹਿ ਗਏ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ RCMP ਨੂੰ ਕੰਟੀਨਿਊ ਕਰਨਾ। ਅਸੀਂ ਹੋਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਚੀਜ਼ 'ਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਡਿਸਕਸ਼ਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ, ਕਿਸੇ ਚੀਜ਼ 'ਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ, ਕੋਈ ਨਵੇਂ ਪਲਾਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ। ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖੋ ਕੈਲਗਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਅਰੀਨਾਸ ਮਿਲ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਵੈਨਕੂਵਰ, ਹੋਰ ਵੱਡੀਆਂ ਸਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਿਟੀ ਆਫ ਸਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਕੁਛ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ। ਫਾਸਟੈਸਟ ਗਰੋਇੰਗ ਸਿਟੀ ਹੈ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੀ, ਪਰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਇਨਫਰਾਸਟਰਕਚਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲ ਰਿਹਾ। ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿਰਫ ਤੇ ਸਿਰਫ RCMP ਦੇ ਸਪੋਰਟਰਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹ ਕੈਂਪੇਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੀ, ਅਸੀਂ ਮੇਅਰ ਐਂਡ ਕਾਉਂਸਲ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੈਜੋਰਟੀ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਖੁਸ਼ ਕਰਨ ਤੇ ਹੈਪੀ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਪ੍ਰੈਸ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਗੈਰ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ, ਵਿਚ ਇਜ਼ ਕਾਈਂਡ ਆਫ ਸੈਡ। ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਹੁਣ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਆ, ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਹੁਣ ਅੱਗੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ। ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਕੰਪਲੀਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ। ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹ ਮਨੀ ਆਫਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹ ਮਨੀ ਨੂੰ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕਰਕੇ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਕੰਪਲੀਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ। ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੋਰ ਕੰਮ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਰੋਡਸ ਦੇ ਕੰਮ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਪਾਰਕਸ ਦੇ ਕੰਮ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਇਨਫਰਾਸਟਰਕਚਰ ਦੇ ਕੰਮ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਉਹ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਬੈਟਰ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੀ ਬੈਟਰਮੈਂਟ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਸੈਂਸ ਆਫ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਬਿਲੋਂਗਿੰਗ ਆਪਣੀ ਲਿਆਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕਿ ਯੈਸ ਅਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰਾਊਡਲੀ ਕਹਿ ਸਕੀਏ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਰੀ ਦੇ ਰੈਜ਼ੀਡੈਂਟਸ ਆ, ਉਹ ਕੰਮ ਮੇਅਰ ਐਂਡ ਕਾਉਂਸਲ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਗਲੇ 3 ਸਾਲ ਰਹਿ ਗਏ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ 'ਤੇ ਫੋਕਸ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ।
ਸੋ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਨਾਗਰਾ, ਐਂਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੌਮੈਂਟ, ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰ, ਡਗ ਐਲਫਰਡ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਟੀਮ ਦੇ ਹੈ, ਅਤੇ ਲਿੰਡਾ ਐਨਿਸ, ਅਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਕਿ ਵੀ ਮੇਕ ਸੈਂਸ ਟੂ ਮੇਕ ਸ਼ੋਰ ਦੇ ਟੇਕ ਦੈਟ ਆਫਰ।
ਜੀ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ, ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਪਲੱਸ ਉਹ ਆਪ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਇੰਟੈਲੀਜੈਂਟ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਨੌਲੇਜ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕੀ ਚੰਗਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਸਿਟੀ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਸੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹ ਇਲੈਕਟ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ। ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਇਲੈਕਟ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਲੋਕ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਕੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੇਪੇਬਿਲਿਟੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਸਹੀ ਡਿਸੀਜਨ ਬਣਾ ਸਕਣ। ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਆਸ ਕਰਦਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਨੂੰ ਪੜ੍ਹਨਗੇ ਅਤੇ ਉਹ ਸਹੀ ਡਿਸੀਜਨ ਬਣਾਉਣਗੇ।
Thank you very much, Mr. Nagra. Always pleasure.
Thank you.
A breaking news for Sanjha TV. ਅੱਜ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸੋਲਿਸਿਟਰ ਜਨਰਲ ਤੇ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਸੇਫਟੀ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਮਾਈਕ ਫੋਰਨਵਰਥ ਨੇ ਅੱਜ ਇਹ ਡਿਸੀਜਨ ਡਿਕਲੇਅਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਅੱਜ ਮਾਰਨਿੰਗ 9:30 ਵਜੇ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਰਿਕਮੈਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗੌਰਮੈਂਟ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਸਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਿਕਮੈਂਡ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਰੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼ ਬਹਾਲ ਰਹਿਣ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼, ਅਤੇ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਸਦਕਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ $30 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਉਹ ਦੇਣਗੇ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਲਈ ਫॉर 5 years, $150 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ, ਅਤੇ ਸੈਵਰੈਂਸ ਪੈਕੇਜਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜੇ ਇੱਥੇ RCMP ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਐਗਜ਼ਿਸਟਿੰਗ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹਾਇਰ ਕੀਤੇ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਅਫੀਸਰ, ਉਹਦਾ ਵੀ $72 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਬਚਦਾ ਆ। ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ 11 o'clock 11 ਵਜੇ ਮੇਅਰ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਡਾ ਲੌਕ ਨੇ ਆਊਟਰਾਈਟ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਰਿਜੈਕਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਆ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਨੂੰ। ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਇਹ ਰਿਕਮੈਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਈ ਕਾਗਜ਼ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਰੀਡਕਟਡ ਕਹਿ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ, ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਾਲੇ ਕਰ ਰੱਖੇ, ਵੀ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੇ। ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਡਿਸਰਿਸਪੈਕਟਫੁਲ ਡਿਸਗ੍ਰੇਸਫੁਲ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਬੇਇੱਜ਼ਤੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਸਿਟੀ ਆਫ ਸਰੀ ਦੀ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੰਨੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਾਈਡ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਦੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ RCMP ਮੰਗਦੀ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ 11:30 ਜਿਹੜੇ ਫਾਰਮਰ ਮੇਅਰ ਡਗ ਮਕਲਮ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਦੀ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ ਕਾਨਫਰੰਸ ਕੀਤੀ ਅਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਿਟਿੰਗ 2 ਕੌਂਸਲਰ ਹੈ ਮਨਦੀਪ ਨਾਗਰਾ ਅਤੇ ਡਗ ਅਲਫਰਡ ਵੀ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਸੀ, ਅਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਹਾਰ ਗਏ ਆ, ਲੋਰੀ ਗਰੋਰਾ, ਐਲਿਸਨ ਪੈਟਨ ਅਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੁਛ ਹੋਰ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ ਕਾਨਫਰੰਸ ਦੇ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਸੀਗੇ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਹਿਤਾ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੇਅਰ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕੌਂਸਲ ਹੈ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਐਕਸੈਪਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ। ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਫਰ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਕਨਫਿਊਜ਼ਨ ਸਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਫੇਰ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ। ਹੁਣ ਦੇਖਣ ਵਾਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਨਫਾਈਟਿੰਗ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਆਮ ਜਨਤਾ ਨੂੰ ਇਫੈਕਟ ਟੈਕਸਸ ਦੇ ਰੂਪ 'ਚ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਅਤੇ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੰਮ ਹੋਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਆ ਸਰੀ ਦੇ ਉਹ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਬੈਕ ਬਰਨਰ 'ਚ ਪੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ। ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੌਂਸਲਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ, ਟੁੱਟੀਆਂ ਸੜਕਾਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ, ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਪੋਟ ਹੋਲ ਬਣੇ ਹੈ, ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰੈਸਿਵ ਕੰਮ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਸਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਹੁਣ ਦੇਖਣ ਵਾਲਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਦੱਸੂਗਾ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਇਨਫਾਈਟਿੰਗ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਇਹ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਸੇਫਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਇਫੈਕਟ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਕਿਵੇਂ ਆਮ ਸਿਟੀਜ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਇਫੈਕਟ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ। CJ ਸਿੱਧੂ ਰਿਪੋਰਟਿੰਗ ਫॉर ਆਰਿਆ ਬੈਂਕਟ ਹਾਲ, ਸਰੀ, ਬ੍ਰਿਟਿਸ਼ ਕੋਲੰਬੀਆ।